All right, I just did my first Zoom class. In case you missed it, I'll put it up here on my YouTube channel. It's a 60-ish minutes Hatha practice. We'll do about 26 poses, two sets of most, some variations in the second set. As always, we begin with a breathing exercise and end with a breathing exercise. So as we begin, we'll begin with pranayama breathing. So it's 6 seconds in through the nose and 6 seconds back out through the mouth. As we go, let's all come up to our Tadasana and begin.
Let's begin by interlacing all 10 fingers underneath the chin. Lightly press the thumb against the throat. To begin, exhale all the breath. And then begin with an inhale through the nose. We want to spread the palms wide. We want to lift the elbows up high towards the ceiling. And then exhale, HA out through the mouth as we try to squeeze the palms, the wrists, and elbows to touch. Good. Then inhale nice and slow in through the nose, loud, audible breath. The elbows go up, shoulder blades relax. And then exhale, HA. Try to maintain a straight spine as we lift the chin, bring the elbows together. Good. And inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, inhale nice and slow. The elbows lift, chin comes level. And just feel the outer armpits rotating up, shoulder blades elevate. And then exhale, HA, as we squeeze the elbows together. Just imagine the shoulder blades wrapping around the ribcage. Good. And inhale, nice and slow. Loud, audible breath. In through the nose. And then exhale, HA. Let's go back out through the mouth. Good. And you also do 3 more, so nice and slow. Loud, audible breath as we inhale. Elbows lift, inner border of the neck relaxes. And then exhale, HA, as we squeeze the elbows together. Shoulder height 1 minute. 2 more, inhale. Nice and slow. You should be loud breath. We should all hear this, so maybe I should. And then exhale, straight spine. Hug the ribs in as we squeeze the elbows together. And then let's take our last one here. Biggest one so far. So ribs expand, the lungs expand. We want to lift up just a little bit more. And then exhale, HA, squeezing the palms, the wrists, and elbows together. And good. You relax the arms down by the side, maybe roll the shoulders down a little bit. If the feet came apart, we can bring them back together. In our first pose, half move, we're going to warm our spine up a little bit. So here, let's inhale the arms up over the head. And release all 10 fingers, index fingers released. Now just a little bit of a warm up. Lengthen everything towards the ceiling. And just nice and lightly, just rock the body right. Rock the body left. You should feel stretch all on the lateral side of the body. Try as much as you can. Keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine. And then after a few times in each direction, just take a nice, easy back bend. Maybe lifting the chest, lift the chin, whatever feels good. Maybe squeeze the glutes, engage them a little bit. And on the exhale, just take a forward fold. Bend the knees if you need to. And when the hands reach the mat, just take a little bit of time for some free movement. So feel free to squat down if you like. You're going to take any sort of twist that might work out. Crack all your bones if you can. You guys heard that? All right. Now interlace the fingers. And on the inhale, use that breath to come all the way back up to standing. Fingers interlaced above the head, index fingers released. Now here, take an inhale, lengthen up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, just rotate, reach over towards the right side. You might want to turn around and face this way. And as we're reaching over towards the right, let's first think about grounding down through the feet. So we want to feel the mat beneath the feet. So we feel the inner border, the outer border, the heel all touching. And then imagine the legs are squeezed together. As the legs squeeze together, the calves, the inner thighs come to touch. And begin to push the hips over towards that left side of the room. As the hips go to the left ribs reach towards the ceiling. Try to bring the biceps a little more towards your back wall. Arms straight. Squeeze the hands and then stretch the fingers further to the right side of the room. And on the inhale, let's come back up. Good. Second set, same thing. Inhale, lengthen up. And on the exhale, let's go up and over to the left side of the room. Same thing here. Want to ground down through the feet. So I want to feel the big toe mound of the foot touching the mat, the outer border of the pinky touching the mat, and the heel. So like base point where we're grounding down. So what it really feels, we press the mat with the feet, squeezing the calves together. Inner thigh should come to touch. Then we bump the hips over towards that right side of the room. Right ribs lift. Feel the expansion in the right side of the rib cage, intercostal muscles. Arms are straight. Reach the biceps towards the back wall. Squeeze the hands and then stretch the fingers further to the left. And on the inhale, come back up. Good. All right, first back bend. So you keep the arms up. If you want something a little more assist, you can bring the hands behind the back. But take an inhale. Lengthen the fingertips. I want to keep this length as we start to lift the chest towards the ceiling. Start to reach the gaze, fingertips down the back wall. As we're doing that, draw the belly towards the spine, but squeeze the glutes to press the hips towards the front of the room. Front ribs lift up towards the ceiling. I want to see a nice half moon C shape along the back. So biceps by the ears. Squeeze the hands even tighter, reach them further down the back wall. And on the inhale, come back up. And exhale, take a forward fold. Little chance for some free movement here. So it feels good. You want to squat down. Pedal the heels out. Any sort of arm movements, spinal twist that feels good. We'll come back to this 2 more times. So just do what feels good. All right. And Padahastasana. You're going to take a deep bend in the knees. Want to reach the hands behind the calves. Cup the heels from underneath if you can. If you can't get the heels, just grab the ankles. Relax the head. And on the inhale, we straighten the legs. And on the exhale, we start to pull. And as we're pulling, try to bring the weight a little more forward into the toes. So we're not actually standing on the heels, but with the fingertips, grip the heels. And as you're gripping the heels, think about the elbows squeezing together behind the calves. Shoulder blades will wrap around the rib cage. Feel that scapular movement. And as we begin to straighten the legs a little bit more, compress the stomach against the thighs. Try to bring the forehead a little closer to the shin. Now here, take an inhale breath. And on the exhale, belly to thighs, forehead to shin, and squeeze those elbows together behind the calves. And then release, hands come together. Cinch the waist, then with a flat back, inhale, use that back body strength all the way back up. And then relax into mountain pose. Good. All right, we're gonna do a second set, same exact thing here. Inhale the arms back up over the head. This time just cross the opposite thumb on top. You should do that last set, so the non-dominant thumb. Inhale, find length. Keep the length and reach up and over to the left side again, or right side again. Sorry. And so we know what to do with the feet. We're grounding down, the weights evenly distributed. Calves, legs are squeezing. The hips bump out towards the left. But with the hands, grip the hands tight. So you want to feel the pinky side gripping just as much as the thumb side. And then there should be no bend in the elbows. So take the bend out of the elbows, straighten the arms. Biceps are behind the ears. Now rotate that left shoulder forward a little bit. Take that right hip so we come down in a straight line. Now, press the hips further to the left. Lift the left ribs up towards the ceiling and then reach further to the right. And then inhale, come back up. Second set, same thing. Inhale, lengthen up, squeeze the hands. And exhale, reaching up and over to the left side again. So we want to see this nice C shape here, half moon shape. Feel this good stretch from that right ankle all the way up to that right wrist. So we know what to do with the legs. Firm down, squeeze the legs. Then squeeze the hands tight. Stretch the fingers further to the left side of the room and then bump the hips further to the right. And then inhale, come back up. All right, second back move again. Same options, hands can stay there or hands can go behind the back. But take an inhale, lengthen everything up. And on the exhale, reach towards the back of the room. Good. Now here again, squeeze the glutes. Try to bump the hips forward towards the front of the room. As the bump the hips forward towards the front of the room, lift the chest. Squeeze the hands and reach further down the back wall. And then inhale, come back up. And then exhale, let's take a forward fold. Last little chance here for some free movement. So do it feels good. Squat, rinse, twist, pedal to heels, whatever works. And then for second set, same thing. Take an even deeper bend in the knees. Maybe the stomach gets a little more firmly down onto the thighs. Cup the heels. Maybe the palms go a little further under the heels. As the head relaxes, we inhale. Straighten the legs. And on the exhale, let's pull. And as we're pulling, forehead on the shin, feet should be between the knees, looking towards the back wall. And eventually one day we're going to have hips stacked over heels, or touching shin, belly on the thighs. But like before, roll the weight into the toes a little bit more. Use the grip strength, squeeze the heels, elbows squeeze together. Feel the shoulder blades wrapping around the ribcage. And bring a little awareness to these muscles in between the hip creases where we're folding. Here, take an inhale breath. And on the exhale, flatten the belly to the thighs, forehead on the shins. And release, hands come together. The inhale lifts us slowly back up. And exhale, mountain pose, good. All right, Utkatasana here. Take about a 6-inch step towards the right side of the mat. Now here, if you'd like to measure, about 2 fists between the toes, between the heels. It's not 100% accurate, but just try to see that the heels are stacked underneath the hips. Now arms go up straight parallel to the ground. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, begin to drop the hips low. And as the hips go low, see that the knees, the toes, the fingers all point forward. And don't forget about the fingers. Don't let the arms and everything just hang there. Squeeze the fingers, stretch the fingertips. Now lift the chest up a little bit. Draw the belly in. As the shoulder blades move away from the ears, try to sit a little bit deeper into this chair. Toes on the mat. And then slowly push all the way back up. Keep the arms where they are. Lift the heels up as high as you can. You're standing on some high heels here now. Keep that up and begin to bend the knees. So as the knees bend, just imagine as the hips go down, the top part of the thighs are lifting up towards the ceiling. When I think about shoulders over hips over heels. Shoulder blades are away from the ears. Fingers pointing forward. Now, drop the hips a little lower, but lift the right heel. Lift the left heel another inch. And then slowly, let's push it all the way back up. Heels down. Good. Third part, come up about 2 inches off the mat. Bring the knees to touch, squeeze them tight. I want to work these inner thigh muscles, and then slowly, slower than all the other 2 versions, start to sit down. Think about, again, maintaining hips over heels, over shoulders, one straight line. And if your knees feel good, squeeze them tight and take a few slow, controlled bounces, stopping at the top of your last bounce. And then squeeze the knees tight. Come up about 2 inches and hold it. Good, and then all the way up. Heels down, feet together, and mountain pose, good. All right, we get our last little posture in our warm-up series, Garudasana Eagle. So here, let's inhale the arms up above the head. Palms come together, and then swing the right arm underneath the left. We'll cross the elbows and the wrists. Now, if you can't quite get that, you can take the right arm, just pull the left across the body. You can't get that double wrap. You get the double wrap, palms together, thumbs towards the face. Now lift the elbows up, take an inhale, and then start to sit down on the exhale. Good. Inhale, right leg high up and over the left thigh. You can get that foot tucked behind the calf of the double wrap. Go for that. This is where I'll probably have our computer screen in front of us. Think about wrists, elbows, knees, feet, one straight line down the middle of the body. And this is the first of our balancing postures. So find balance in that foot. So press that left big toe mound into the floor. Feel the weight balance on the big toe mound, outside of the pinky and the heel. Toes can slightly grip. Now, move the knees a little to the right. Lift the elbows up a little higher. As the elbows lift, squeeze the forearms together. Try to maybe press the fingertips a little more towards the front of the room as we squeeze the legs and sit even lower down. And change, slowly push up. Second side, inhale the arms up above the head, palms come together. And then left beneath the right, same options. You can bring the left to the right across, get me to. And then elbows lift, sit a little bit lower. And then inhale that left thigh high up and move to the right. So the higher we can get that one thigh over the opposite thigh, the more likely we can get that double wrap. You might find there's a little asymmetry there, so maybe get the wrap one side, maybe not, but just like before, firm down through that right foot. The big toe mound can touch, the left outside of the pinky toe touches, and the heel. And then use the toes, a little bit of grip, gives you a little bit of balance feedback. This side, move the knees to the left. Cinch the waist. As we lift the elbows, taking the sprouting out of the spine, stretch the elbows forward, stretch the shoulder blades forward, and then maybe lean the fingertips a little towards the front of the mat. And change, pushing all the way up. Arms go up above the head, palms together, and Tadasana. All right, so that's our warm-up pose. If you're thirsty, grab a quick little drink before we get into our balancing series. Good. All right. Now we've all had enough. Let's get back to the middle of our mats. Actually, maybe you can jerk these out. And we'll get into our first standing posture, standing forehead to knee. So what do we do here? Firm down to that left foot and then lift the right knee up. Now, just like we were working on in that last posture, feel the weight balance inside, outside of the heel. So 3 points where we're trying to balance the weight. Cinch the waist up. Thighs parallel towards the floor, toes are flexed. Now take an inhale breath here. And on the exhale, lean forward and try to interlace all 10 fingers underneath the ball of the foot. If you can't quite get that, you can get the knee, get the shin, and work your way down. But priority number 1, engage that left standing leg, nice straight leg, and then start to kick the right heel towards the front of your mat. And as we kick the right heel towards the mat, keep the toes flexed back towards the face. And take a little bit of a note. How much are you using the hands to hold the foot up? So one day we want to be able to drop that foot. Drop the hands and the foot stays up there. So we're using those hip flexors, those quad muscles. Good. And here, firm down through the left foot. Press that left big toe down into the mat. Grip with the toes slightly, not a lot. And then straighten our left leg. Think about lifting the chest a little bit. Now begin to hug the elbows around the calf. As the elbows go around the calf, you feel the shoulder blades wrapping around the rib cage. Keep breathing. Toes back. Now, fold forward. You want to bring a forehead to the knee, or maybe the gaze just goes down to that left foot. And as slowly as we went in, nice and easily come back out and relax into your Tadasana. Good. Take a breath here. Same thing, second side. So again, firm down through that right foot. Again, this point, big toe mound, the pinky big toe mound, and the heel bone. Good. Now inhale the left leg up. Find balance in that right foot. Core cinch, chest lifted, arms, shoulders relaxed. Good. Now inhale, breath here. And on the exhale, lean forward. And release all 10 fingers. Now if you can't quite get underneath the foot again, you grab the top, shin, knee. Gazing forward, chest lifted. Start to straighten the left heel towards the front of the mat. So the left heel goes towards the mat, and re-engage that right leg. Press the right big toe down into the floor. Now here you might notice this left hip might want to drift a little bit back. As we're kicking the heel forward, think about that left hip moving forward too. Yeah, so nice. So it's nice and parallel. Third part of the pose, we have to hug the elbows around the calf. Shoulder blades wrap around the ribcage. With this breath, always in, out the nose. And then final expression, just a round forward. Forehead comes to knee, gaze towards that right foot, up, right leg straight, left toes towards the face, and slowly come back out and release down. We'll do a second set of variation. But we'll take a little back release first. Bring the hands to the low spine, fingers pointing down. Inhale, lifts the chest. And exhale, push the hips forward. Maybe squeeze the elbows as you look out. Might get a little chest opener there in the process. Okay, let's come back up. We'll have you turn your face this way. We're going to do a second little variation here. We're going to do Padangusthasana. So here, firm up that left leg. And with your right fingers, go and grab for that right big toe. Left hand, go on the left hip. It's like before, no bend in that left knee. And then begin to straighten the right heel towards the front. So the right heel goes towards the front, the chest is lifted. Draw that right shoulder back a little bit, yeah. So we get to strengthen some of that posterior capsule of the shoulder. Balance weight in that left foot. Now start to here, nice and easy. Open the foot over towards the right side of the room. You take the left arm over towards the left side. Good. Find that balance. Keep your breath. And then nice and slowly here, come back forward. With the foot there. Let's try to switch hands. Left hand grabs the outside of that right foot. We're going to revolve this twist. Good. Chest is lifted. Left leg is straight. And then nice and slow, come back forward. Take the arms up, legs up, inhale. And exhale. Good. Same thing on the left side. Firm down that right foot, right down the right hip, and then left big fingers. Grab for that left big toe. You got one. Now, firm down to the right leg, weights balance on the inside and outside of that foot, and start to kick the left heel. Think as much as you can. Try keeping the chest lifted, staying grounded down through that right leg, and we're using these right hip flexor muscles, these psoas muscles to help keep that leg up. Now start to open the hip to the left. Arms go up towards the right. Now lift the chest again. Firm down to the right leg. You take the gaze towards that right hand. And then nice and slow, come back forward. The heel's in front of you. Feed the right hand into the outside of the left foot and revolve the twist. Now remember, we're still balanced on that right foot, so we're not going inside the outside. We're equally balanced. Come back forward. Arms are up, legs are up, and let's relax back down. Good. One more quick little back release, hands a little spine, press the hips forward, squeeze the elbows. All right, now coming back up, get our dancer pose, maybe jump and face that front again. Now from here, we want to do feet together, right elbow to the right hip, and then bend the right knee, and then bring the elbow or ankle up to the hand. So we want to try to grab on the inside. So we're always rotating, actually rotating our shoulder and grabbing on the inside of the ankle. Good. Now inhale, left arm up. Firm down to that left foot, and then on the exhale, just start to kick. And as we're kicking, just keep the chin lifted, keep the chest lifted. But think about allowing that right arm to completely relax. So as you kick the hand into this right arm, you should feel this right shoulder moving towards the back of the ball. Now we might get to a point where we're not kicking anymore. And you can start to bring the upper body down a little bit. But remember, chin stays lifted, chest stays lifted. It's a backward bending posture. So if your torso is flat towards the ground, you're not really getting that back. Now here, begin to drop that right hip a little more towards the mat. This right shoulder relaxes, but stretch the left fingertips towards the front. Stay strong in the hands, now chest down. Lift the toe a little higher, toe up, fingers up, keep lifting. And then slowly, keep tension here. Kick back out and relax them down. Good. Same thing, left side, left elbow, left hip. And then bend the knee and bring the foot to the hand. So we're trying to, as we're doing this, to teach the thing to do what it is we want to do. So we don't really want to lean back from the foot. We're going to bring the foot to the hand. It's right there. Firm down to that right foot. Inhale, right fingertips towards the ceiling. Keep that. And on the exhale, just begin to kick. So you're going to get a little bit of stretch here in that left front of the thigh and the quadricep muscle. But allow That left shoulder to relax. It's moving towards the back of the mat. But the right shoulder is equally moving towards the front. So you see backward bending pose. You see we get also a little bit of a twist. Now here when we get to the point where we can't kick anymore, the upper body can still start to come down. You can drop that left hip towards the floor. One day we might have the belly parallel to the mat, but the chin is lifted. The chest is lifted. Now again, firm down through that right foot. Kick into that left hand. Reach the toes up towards the ceiling. Reach the fingers forward and up. Keep lifting. Feel this back strength. And slowly kick back out. And hands go down. Good. One more posture here in our balancing series. Turnadasana. Let's step to the back of our mat. Heels and toes together. So heels and toes together. Inhale the arms up over the head. Interlace all 10 fingers, just like we did that first set. Inhale, lengthen. The exhale, step forward on the right foot, and then slowly, as slow as you can, chest comes down, leg comes up. Now, ideally, we want to be in a T shape. If you can't quite get the T, try to think about having a straight line. But weight is balanced on that right foot. If you feel the weight moving towards that outer edge, press that right big toe down into the floor. Then squeeze that right left foot, lift the leg out wide. Point the toe back. Biceps by the ears, stretch the fingers forward, good. And then softly, left foot down, right steps to the middle. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, lengthen up, fingertips up, step forward on that left foot, and then as slow as you get there, chest down, leg up. So sort of move slow, just build strength in these transitions here, slow, functional transitions. Again, the weight's balance on that foot, so press the left big toe down into the mat. Let's lift that right leg higher. Squeeze the glute muscle here. Squeeze the hamstring and point the toe back. Upper body down a little bit. Biceps body as we stretch the fingers forward, reaching the toe back. And then slowly step the foot down. Left foot comes to meet it. And Tadasana. All right now. Let's take a quarter turn towards the left side of the room. The side of our mat. Now here, what we're going to do. Inhale the arms up over the head. The palms will touch. And take about a 3 or 4 foot step to the right, arms parallel. Now inhale, lift the chest. On the exhale, hinge forward. But as you're hinging forward, those muscles in the hip creases, use those to get you down there. When you get down there, try to reach down and grab on the outside of your heels if you can get it. If you can't quite get the heels, you can grab the outside of the feet, you can grab the shins, you can grab the calves. Now here in this first set, gaze is towards the floor. So try to bring the forehead, try to bring the lips towards the mat. Now start to rock the weight a little more into the toes. Now as the weight goes into the toes a little bit, pull on the heels. Want to think about having elbows as close as you can to the knees. So you want to see the shin bone here, the forearm bone here touching. Shoulder blades away from the ears, inhale. And on the exhale, pull a little more forehead to the mat. Good, and then release the hands. Arms out to the side. Find that flat back, cinch the waist. And nice and slow, build strength in that transition in the back. Come all the way back up. Now here, one fluid step, feet and hands come to touch at the same time. Try to coordinate that movement. And Tadasana. Good, all right. Let's do another set of that. Different variation. This time inhale the arms up. Palms come to touch and take that same step out towards the right, but this time hands behind the back. Bind the hands, kind of the Shalabhasana grip. So pinky and thumb are equally gripped. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, fold forward again. Use those hip flexor muscles. Use your strength to bring your body down there. Second set, gaze can go between the knees towards the back of the wall. But the hands are still gripping tight. Pinky side, thumb side, equally engaged. Hands up off the back. Reach them over the top of that. Now try to stretch them to the floor as you bring the belly a little more between the thighs. And then release the grip. Arms out to the side. The inhale brings us up, flat back. And in that one fluid step, feet and hands come to touch. Try to coordinate that movement. and mountain pose. All right, now triangle, the pinnacle of our standing series. Let's inhale the arms above the head. The palms will touch. Take a little bit wider step towards the right, arms parallel. Now pivot the right toe forward and come down into a lunge. As you come down to lunge, the big thing we want to see is we want to make sure that front shin is straight up and down. The longer the stride, the more challenging the pose is. But then feel the weight is balanced on that right foot. Big toe mount pressing the mat. Toes can slightly grip. And then with that right heel, drag the right heel towards the back of the mat. With the left, drag the left forward down. Inhale, breath here. Exhale, right arm goes down, the left arm goes up. Now, ideally, we want to think about having a straight line here, armpit all the way down to the ankle. And we're still maintaining that squeeze. So we're squeezing the right heel towards the left. We're trying to squeeze the left towards right, almost like we're trying to scrunch up our mat here. Right arm presses into the knee. Left arm reaches towards the back of the room. Now trying to sink a little bit deeper. Good. Inhale, lifts us up. Inhale, lifts us up. Straighten that front leg. Now turn the toes towards the side and turn the left toes towards the back of the mat and then drop into the lunge here. Again, see that the front shin is straight up and down. See that the knee's not diving in. So you want to press the knee out. And here, you might even think about looking at your heels. Try to either have the heels in one line or a little bit wider hip length so we're not torquing that SI joint too much. Now the left heel drags towards the back. Right heel drags forward, inhale. Exhale, left down, the right goes up. Elbows roughly at knee height, gazing towards the top fingers. And we're still squeezing the feet together. The weight's still balanced in that right big toe mound, that left big toe mound, and the pinky mound. And we still have that straight line, armpit down to the ankle. And you maybe drop that top hip a little bit. Yeah. But then lift that right armpit up towards the ceiling. Yeah. Hand towards the back of the room. Press the knee into the arm into the knee. And inhale, come back up. Straighten the left leg. Toes forward. Feet and hands both come to touch. Same time. And relax that. Good. You get to do a second set of that same thing. Inhale the arms back up over the head. And then take maybe a little bit wider stride out towards the right. Right toes go forward. Drop into the lunge. Now remember the weight's balanced. Heels will either line up in one line or a little wider. And take a quick peek at that back foot. You want to either have that back toe pointing a little more towards the front of the, almost at a 45-degree angle there. Legs are squeezed tight. Inhale. Exhale, right down, left goes up. Good. Now, so right goes up. And press that right knee, arm into the knee. Left arm towards the back. Now, you don't do this, but let's take a little bit of a bind today. So drop that left hand behind the back. Stay there, but as your hand's behind the back, think about squeezing the shoulder blades a little more towards the spine. So we're engaging and not just hanging on our ligaments. Right hand can feed under that thigh. If you're not, try to reach back. Maybe try to even grab like the wrist. If you need to grab the hands, go for that. Now, try not to look down at the hips. So think about neck towards the back of the room. Try to open the chest. Good. If you have a bind, release the bind. Arms up. Find that triangle. Then inhale, lifts us up. Straighten the right leg. Toes forward, left toes back, drop into the lunge. Do the same thing here again, but see the heel alignment. Number one, straight line. Sometimes I have these nice little mats where it's dissected right down the center. It's good alignment tool. Front shin vertical, squeeze the legs, inhale. Exhale, left down, right up. Good. Try the breath here first. You know that back heel is a little more towards the back of the mat. Toes towards the face. Now, if you want to take that bind, drop the right hand behind the back. As you drop it behind the back, squeeze that shoulder blade. Almost you're trying to bring that inner border, that medial border of the scapula a little bit closer to the spine. Then here, feed the arm under. You want to take the bind here. You can't take the bind, can't reach. You just grab a piece of your clothing. Now we're gazing up. The breath is in and out through the nose. Take another breath here. And then release back into our triangle. Arm up. Inhale brings us all the way up. Left leg straight. Toes go forward. And then feet and hands come to touch at the same time. And Tadasana. All right. 2 more standing poses. So this time, inhale the arms up over the head. Bring the palms together. Then take about a 2 to 3 foot step towards the right. And then pivot to face the front of the room. Now the same alignment goes here. See that the heels are going one line or a little bit wider than the hips. Inhale, lengthen everything up. Outer armpits stretch up. And on the exhale, fold over that front leg. You can take a little bit wider step if you want. Now, option, you can bring the hands to the mat. You can separate them. If you want to work on a little bit more balance, you keep the palms together. But as we're doing this, think about scooping the belly up. We want to think about taking that right hip crease and almost moving it up and back. So almost you're trying to hollow out that hip socket. Good. Now take an inhale, back side of the body. And on the exhale, press the mat away. Maybe the floor comes a little closer to the shin. And then palms together. Use the inhale breath, slowly come up. Quarter turn to the front, quarter turn to the back. Same thing, find that alignment in your heels. The inhale lengthens everything up. Exhale, fold forward. Now this time, that left hip crease is trying to move up and back. It's almost to that corner of the room up there. The idea is to have both of our hips here nice and level. So we're scooping the belly. You can rest the hands on the mat, fingertips spread for a little more depth. You want to work on balance, fingertips come together. Now take an inhale breath here, back side of the body. And then exhale, press the mat away. Good. Palms together. The inhale lifts us up. Quarter turn to the front. And feet and hands come together. Good. All right, so our last standing pose. So turn back to face the front of your mat. You can still face this wet tree. Now, tree pose, firm down to the left leg. And just like before, bring the right foot up as high as you can get it into the hip crease and then grab it. So again, try to bring it up so we want to make sure we're not doing this, but we're lifted up, maybe grab at the end. So teaching the thing to do what it is to do. Right hand to heart. The foot stays, the left hand comes to heart. Either stay here or if you want to fold forward, hands can come to the mat. Now, this is a nice little half bind. If you want to stay here, you can even reach the right hand around and grab the toe. But if you want to go into your toe stand, again, to sit down. Hands are on the mat. You can play around. Bring the hands up to heart. Good. Take an inhale. And then on the exhale, nice and easy. Let's all come back up. Meet up in the tree first. Find that position. And then relax them. Final side. Firm up to the right leg. Lift the left up again. Bring it up as high as you can get into the hip crease. And at the last minute, just grab it. Left hand to heart. Right hand comes to meet it. Same thing, option to stay here in your tree or go in the toe stand. If you're staying in tree, all the balance work we've been working on, firm down to the inner side and the outside of the foot. You want to go to the tree, that toe stand. If you're standing in tree, balance inside and outside of the foot. The chest is lifted. And imagine squeezing on that right glute to have a nice straight leg if you're standing. Now when you're ready, inhale, come back up. We'll all meet in tree for just 1 second here. And then relax down into Tadasana. Good. Let's take an inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, relax down. Good. So that is our standing series, which brings us to a second water break if you're thirsty. and our first Shavasana. So when you're ready, have a drink, and we'll all meet on our backs, on our mats. It's a little bit of working on our focus here, my ego. All right, so in Shavasana, you keep your eyes open, you keep your eyes closed if you like. But just like before, think about those long, deep breaths in through the nose, and then back out through the nose. Just breathing in and out through the nose, it does encourage a little bit more use of the diaphragm, the muscle, the engine of our respiration. We breathe more out of our mouth. It's kind of more chest breathing and also kind of just invokes a stress response. If we're trying to combat that here in our yoga, a more parasympathetic type work as we calm our breath, control our breath in and out the nose. Let's take another couple deeper breaths here. And let's take our first floor posture, wind removing. So bend the right knee and bring the right knee up towards the right shoulder. Interlace all 10 fingers around the top of the kneecap. And try to squeeze the knee as close as you can get it to that right shoulder. And as you move it towards the right shoulder, the tendency for that left shoulder to move up, try to bring that left shoulder back to the floor. Try to make sure that left hip is down on the floor. And ever so slightly, just press the back of the neck into the mat. Good. Take an inhale breath. On the exhale, squeeze the knee to the shoulder. Imagine that right hip moving down towards that left heel. And change, relax the arms down. Same thing on the other side. Left knee up, opposite thumb can grip on top again, non-dominant thumb. As you squeeze the left knee to the left shoulder, remember that right shoulder, right hip are both on the mat. So rotating, but stay nice and grounded on the mat. And as we draw the left knee to the shoulder, that left hip is nice and easy. Think about moving down towards that right heel. Just now work on some of that interior rotation, interior pelvic tilt on that left side. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, knee to shoulder, left hip to the right heel. And then relax down. Now we get a third part here. Bend both knees, bring them up towards the chest. If you can, reach across the top of the shins and try to grab it for opposite elbows. If you can't quite get the elbows, you can grab the forearms, you can grab the wrist, even a hand towel if you got one around. But relax the head, relax the tailbone. Let's take an inhale breath here. And on the exhale, squeeze. Now, traditionally, this is the spot where we're going to think about having as straight a spine as possible. Then we're going to straighten our spine out, completely. But imagine here, pressing the back of the neck into the floor, pressing the low part, that little lumbar curve, that lordosis into the mat a little bit. Take an inhale breath. And on the exhale, squeeze tight, knees to the chest, tailbone to the mat. And then relax down, arms and legs by the side. Good. All right, we're going to do our only transitional sit-up of our practice. Any sort of back issues or just don't like doing sit-ups, feel free to flip over towards your stomach. Now, otherwise, take the arms above the head. Squeeze the feet together, toes towards the face. Now let's all take a big inhale breath. Hold the breath and then sit up, double exhale, double reach for and beyond the toes. Good. And then we can roll over to our stomach. Again, our spine strengthens. Very good. And our spine strengthens serious. We begin with cobra pose. So here, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Squeeze the bottoms of the shoulder blades together, chins in the mat looking forward. And then squeeze the top legs out. Think about here. Think about having the pinky. Think about having the foot. Press those into the mat. Good. Now take an inhale. Keep pressing the feet. Lift the chest up off the floor. You're not going to go a lot. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Now imagine the pelvic bone. You don't want to press the stomach into the mat, but imagine just about a few inches below the stomach. Press that into the floor. Squeeze the feet. Now lift them up, look up, and then lower back down. Left ear's on the mat. Let's look at the right side of the room. Good breath here. Let's do that again. Second set, hands underneath the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows tight. Again, feel the top of the pinky, feel the top of the big toe on the mat. Squeeze the legs. Now take an inhale. Lift the chest up. Lift the feet up here. Good. Now, you can either with the hands grip the mat a little bit, try to drag back, get a little more engagement, or you can lift the hands up off the mat, look up, feet up, legs up, chin up, and lower back down, looking over your left shoulder. All right. Now we get our next pose. So here, what do our shavasana? Lift the hips up. Want to bring the hands underneath the body. So sometimes folks can kind of roll like that, hands down, or another fun way to do it, we got a little bit of time here, you can just kind of lift the hips, slide them under, and they're right there. Good. But no matter what we're doing, relax that left leg, straighten the right leg, and then lift it up. So the right leg goes up. As the right leg goes up, press that right hip into that right hand. If it's sore on the wrist, you can make a little bit of a fist with that hand, but eventually you want to kind of keep the hand over and mobilize some of those bones. But don't press that left leg into that. If you feel this pressing into the floor, relax it, but squeeze the hamstring. Squeeze the glute, lift up a little bit higher, and lower down. Same thing, left side. Relax the right leg. Squeeze that left glute, left hamstring, and lift it up. Remember, chin's on the mat. We're looking forward. We're not pressing that right leg, that right knee, anything into the mat. We don't want to engage those right psoas, but we're going to use this left posterior chain, squeeze the glute, squeeze the hamstring, lift up, and lower back down. Third part of this pose, squeeze the elbows a little tighter together, stretch the fingers a little more towards the knees, and then bring the lips down to the mat to help protect the necks. Now good. Squeeze the legs tight, toes, ankles touch. You take an inhale and then lift the feet up. Lift the shins up. As the shins come up, the weight comes more into the thighs, so you'll feel the hands on the mat and grip with the mat. Squeeze the belly. Try to use this back strength, much to lift up a little higher. Bring the weight into the stomach. Bring the weight into the shoulders. Maybe one day feet come over the head. And then slowly lower back down. Arms out to the side. You can roll the wrist, turn it to the right. Good. Last little part of our spine strengthening series here. Shalabhasana. Take the arms out to the side, like jet plane wings. Palms down. Relax the shoulder blades down away from the ears. Squeeze the legs. Now take an inhale and lift everything up off the floor. Now again here, try to not think about pressing the belly button into the floor. Rather, kind of right above this pubic bone. We want to get more of equal engagement throughout the entirety of the spine, not just working that lower spine. So again, lift up, fingertips up, squeeze the legs, and lower back down, look to the side. All right. Second set, little variation. This time, bring the palms down by your side. Palms down. Now this time, chin the mat facing forward. Shoulder blades down away from the ears. Imagine the fingertips trying to move down towards the feet as we take an inhale and lift up. Chest up, arms up. Try to get the hands a little higher up off the mat. Try to take the fingertips down towards the feet. Shoulder blades away from the ears. So we look up, lift up another inch. And lower back down, looking to the side. I lied. I said one more spine strengthening pose. We actually had two. We have our Dhanurasana, our floor bow. So chin to center. We'll do two sets. If you want to take one side at a time, you start with the right. Otherwise, bend both knees. And like we've been working on, bend the knees. Bring the feet to the heels. So when you reach back, they're right there. If you're doing one side at a time, grab the right, the left arm goes out in front of you. Now inhale, breath, and let's kick chest up, arms up. Legs up. Let's lift up a little bit here. Now, again, think about not pressing as much the belly into the mat, more so the pubic bone or a little bit of spot right below the belly. Now, shoulders away from the ears. Shoulder blades move down the spine as we lift up a little higher and lower back down, look to the side. Good. Just taking a breath here. Inhale and exhale. Second side, second set, same thing. Bend the knees, bring the feet to the hands. If you're doing one side, grab the left foot, right arm goes out as a counterbalance. Squeeze the knees, take an inhale, and let's kick. Remember, this is a back body strengthening. So we're holding with the feet. But think about trying to press. Almost you're trying to straighten ankles. So try not to point the toes towards your face. Almost you're trying to bring your feet like that. Yeah. Now you get a little more strength. So lift up a little bit higher, thighs up. And lower back down, looking to the side. And a quick breath here. And then let's bring our hands to the mat. And let's all bring our knees together at the front of our mat. Fixed firm pose, so knees together, heels go wide. One thing we want to work on here is the heels go wide. We're going to make sure we're not flaring the feet out like that. That probably hurts a little bit. So if you're flaring the feet out like that, you're putting a lot of stress on your knees and your ankles. We don't want that. So tops of the feet into the mat. Now this might be good for you. If you want a little bit more, you just have to bring the hands to the feet. And you just have to bring the elbows to the mat, shoulders to the mat. Now there should never be any pain. If you ever feel any pain, stay where you feel comfortable. You can open the knees a little bit wider. You can even sit on the block if that works. If you want a little bit more, arms up over the head. Now two options here. You can see she's grabbing the elbows. So you can press the elbows into the mat. Or you just want to reach the arms back towards the back. It'll be kind of your handstand position, but think about these ribs. Don't let them flare up. Knit them in. Good. If you need a little bit more here, you can squeeze the glutes. You can squeeze the knees together, work on the more inner thighs. And then when you're done, nice and easy, you came in, use your hands, come all the way back up. Hands to the mat, and then straighten legs, step to the back of the mat for our half tortoise position. Nice little back bend, so you get a nice forward bend here. So here, this time we're sitting on our heels in Vajrasana. Inhale the arms up over that. Bring the palms to touch. Cross the thumbs. Keep that length. And on the exhale, biceps by the ears. The goal is to try to bring the forehead to touch the mat first, then the hands. But if the forehead doesn't touch the mat, you can allow the hands to be on the floor. But first thing to think about is just take a note of what you're looking at. If you're looking at your knees, make sure you're looking straight down towards the mat. Ideally, you want to keep the neck in the same alignment as the spine. We bend forward, we round forward enough in our life. We don't need to do that here in our yoga. There's a time for it. There's a time to do the opposite. This is it. But here, hips are on the heels. The belly strong. Remember, suction those, scoop the belly up, suction those hip creases more towards the back of the mat. As the palms press and stretch the fingertips towards the front. Get a little bit of nice natural traction in the spine here. All right, hands come back to heart. Or back together, I mean. Use the inhale, core comes all the way back up. And then relax the arms down. All right, we get our Strasana camel pose, our biggest back bend of the series. Here we're going to go up high up on the knees. The knees are separated at 6 inches. The feet are separated at 6 inches. Now, a couple options. You keep the tops of the feet to the floor here. If you're a little more flexible. If you're less flexible, you can bring the tops like that. Hands come to the low spine. Fingers pointing down. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, start to lift the chest. You start to lean back towards the feet now. Go back to where you feel good. And it's natural. You can bring the hips a little bit behind the knees. Now, either stay here or if you want to reach the hands back to the heels and build out this pose. As you grab on the heels, think about squeezing the shoulder blades together. Think about lifting the chest, taking the gaze down the back wall. Now here, either bring the hands to the hips or bring the hands to the heart if you want to work a little bit harder. Come all the way back up and then sink back on the heels. Good. Let's just do one more set of that. Getting some good back bends. I'm sure in this quarantine we're sitting down at our desk, computers a lot, so it's always good to reverse that motion. So same thing, hands a little spine. Inhale, lift the chest. And on exhale, start to lift the chest, lift the ribs as you look up. Remember to stay back bending posture. Squeeze the glutes a little bit. And you can reach back for the heels if you want, or just stay here. Take a couple breaths. And then when you're ready, come back up and sink back down to the heels. Good. And a good counterbalance to that pose is we get our rabbit. So here what we're going to do is we're going to lean forward. We're going to try to grab. We're going to grab the outside, thumbs on the outside so you can see me here. Thumbs are on the outside, fingers on the inside of the heels. Okay. Now sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, tuck the chin. Start to round the belly. Bring the forehead to touch the knees. Now when the forehead touches the knees, lift the hips until the top of the head lightly touches the mat. So lift the hips up nice and high. You want to have these elbows are straight. So we're lifting up high now. Really want to round the spine. So you're trying to bring the forehead to touch the knees. You can rest the forehead a little bit top of the head on that. Yeah, good. Inner or one of these inner border of the armpits, elbow creases, pointing towards one another. And then hollow the belly out. Lift the hips up a little higher. Maybe you can walk the knees a little closer to the forehead. And then sink the heels to the hips. Keep holding the heels. Sit back down. And one vertebrae at a time, round back up. The cervical spine comes up last. And release the heels. Good. Now from here, roll over to that left hip. You can face forward if you want, and swing the right foot forward. We get our Janu Shavasana. So that left foot is on that inner thigh. You can press it in. We still want to feel grounded through our hip bones. And inhale the arms up. Interlace the fingers. And on the exhale, fold to the foot. If you have any sort of SI stuff kind of folding in that twist, doesn't feel good, feel free just to reach forward. Option to bend that knee as much as you can. But start to rotate that left armpit, left elbow down towards the mat. The toes are flexed towards the face, and you'll feel the shoulder just wrapping around the ribcage a little bit. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, let's pull forehead to the knee. And change. Let's come back up. Same thing on the other side. Left foot goes out. Right foot goes in. Inhale the arms up. We interlace. Then we exhale, round forward. On this side, right elbow, right armpit towards the mat. With that left hip crease, think about taking that left hip crease towards the back a little bit. Just scooping up, just hollowing up the belly a little bit. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, forehead to the knee. And release. Let's come back up. Third part, take both feet forward towards the front of the room. Heels and toes together, toes flex towards the face. Nice tall posture here. And then inhale the arms above the head. Interlace. And on the exhale, start to fold forward and reach for the feet, ankles, the toes. Now to begin, gaze is forward. The shoulder blades wrapping around the ribcage. Anytime the arms go above the head, those shoulder blades should move up a little bit too. Now hug the elbows around the calf. Toes towards the face. Start to round the forehead towards the knee, belly to the thighs. And change. Look up. All right, final spinal twist. Take that left foot or right foot over top the left knee. Sole of the foot should be right on the floor. Option to either leave that left knee straight or you can bend it. Again, try again. Just do like teach them the thing to do what you want it to do. So you just got to lean over, bring it back, and then you can cinch it up there at the end. Right hand behind the back. Left hand goes up and over the outside of the knee. I'll take an inhale breath. And the exhale, let's twist. And here in this twist, you might have a tendency to feel that left hip bone, that left sit bone coming up off the mat. Don't let it. We want to get more of this twist more into the thoracic, the middle part of the spine, as opposed to torquing on that sacrum a little bit. But as we inhale, fine length, crown of the head reaches up. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Use that left arm as some leverage to deepen the twist. And change, come back over. Let's switch sides. This time, left goes over, the right can stay straight forward. Then again, try to bring it over towards the foot of its own volition. Use some balance, core strength. Then you can cinch it up at the end, use the hand. There you go. This time, left hand behind the back. Right arm goes up and over to the outside of the knee. Feel grounded through both sits bones as we inhale, crown of the head towards the ceiling. And then the exhale, look over left shoulder. Shoulder blades down, away from the ears. Good. The breath remains steady, in and out through the nose. Good. Let's take an inhale here. And on the exhale, look over that shoulder a little bit more. Use that right arm as a little bit of leverage to deepen the twist. And change. Come back to center. All right. As I said, we finish, begin and end with a breathing exercise. We have Kapala body breathing. So here you want to sit hips and heels in Maharajasana, our pose here. If that's not comfortable, you can always kind of sit cross-legged or have a prop. Hands left on the thighs, chest lifted. You can close the eyes here. So just a quick breath out through the lips as we snap the belly in. We don't have to worry about an inhale that naturally occurs. Let's all stick together and begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is it. With the exception of one final Shavasana. So let's all meet on our backs in Shavasana. Now, for those of you that typically come to my class, you kind of know we're always 5 minutes over. We'll go about 5 minutes over here today. If you don't mind, if you have to leave, free to go, but I definitely recommend staying here in a little bit of Shavasana if you can. Breath into the nose, breath out through the nose. And we'll just do 2 minutes of quiet Shavasana. I won't say anything. So you can close your eyes. You can just focus on your breathing. I'll give us a little awareness, like at 1 minute in, to let you know that I'm still here. And again, at that final. All right, that is 1 minute. All right, just start taking a couple deeper breaths. Just feel the feeling, being in our bodies. Now I'd like to thank everyone for practicing with me today, with us today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and namaste.